Let's paint my fishing rod. All right, so just to quickly go over some things you guys are gonna need to do this, ignore the drill and the fan. Right here, I got some gloves to protect my hands from the paint. Here I have a 1200 grit sanding sponge. You guys can use sandpaper, it does not really matter. And honestly, this is just personal preference because this paint does not require sanding before applying the paint. But me personally, I like to rough up the material that I'm gonna be painting before I apply the paint. So just make sure you guys are reading the directions on the paint cans that you buy. Right here, I got a roll of painter's tape as well as a razor blade to make those precise cuts. Here I have some alcohol pads and some paper towels to clean up after the sanding process. And then last but not least, some Krylon Fusion paint as well as some clear coat. So I can't finish this video without giving a quick shout out to my boy Ethan for putting me onto this paint. I was gonna buy some Rust-Oleum, but Krylon Fusion is actually flexible, and that is very important when you're painting a fishing rod, obviously because your rod is going to be bending a lot, not only when you're fighting fish, but also when you're casting, and sometimes even when you're storing your rods, they might bend a little bit. So, very important that you guys get some paint that is flexible if you want this to last. This is a really redneck setup here. All right, guys, so the first step to this process is going to be taping off all the areas on the rod that you do not want to get any paint or clear coat on. Just make sure you guys do a really good job when you're taping off all the parts of the rod that you don't want any paint to get on, because how well this rod turns out is going to be heavily dependent on how precise and good of a tape job you did. So the next step is going to be sanding the rod. Just make sure you guys are reading the directions on the back of your cans because some paints do not require sanding before applying. Once you're done, your sponge or sandpaper should look something like this. It's just that clear coat coming off. Once you finish that, the next step is going to be cleaning the rod and getting it ready to paint. Ideally, you'd want some actual rubbing alcohol and then some paper towels, but this is all my wife had, so this will do the trick. But yeah, like I said, just get some rubbing alcohol in a bottle and then some paper towels, and this whole process will be a lot faster. And make sure to get it nice and clean before you apply any paint. Now, while y'all are waiting for that to dry, a good idea would be to go ahead and put on some gloves because the next step is going to be applying the paint. Just make sure you guys are following the directions on these paint cans. For this Krylon Fusion, it says to wait 1 minute between coats. I'm going to be doing 3 coats of the paint and 3 coats of the clear coat, and probably waiting maybe 5 to 10 minutes between coats just to make sure that that paint cures on there really well. Give it a good shake and bake. Now, if you read the directions on the back of the can, it says to stay roughly 8 to 10 inches away from the material you're going to be painting. I like to go back and forth, nice and easy, because the last thing you want is for this paint to drip. So it should look something like this. Just like that. Obviously, you guys are going to want to make sure you're spinning the rod, rotating it to make sure you get a nice even coat all the way around. Now, once you've completed your first coat, it should look something like this. You're going to be able to see straight through to the bottom. That's perfectly fine. All this first coat is a base layer. The second and third coats are going to finish it. After a few minutes, you can go ahead and apply your second coat. So just like last time, you're going to come back about a foot and spray just like this. Make sure you guys are being very generous with your third and final coat, correcting all those imperfections before you apply your clear coat. Once you finish that third and final coat of paint, it says right on the back of the can that it takes 20 minutes for it to be dry to touch. I'm going to wait a half an hour before I apply my clear coat and finish the rod. So for the clear coat, you guys are going to repeat the exact same process that you did with the paint. Stay about a foot back and just do nice, even sprays all the way down the rod. I think it turned out pretty good, but only time will tell. I'm going to give that an hour to cure. The rest of the rod's already been curing for an hour, so the next time you see me, the rod will be totally finished. That is it. I got the rod moved into the garage so it could cure overnight. All the tape is removed. This is the finished product, and I gotta say, I am really happy with how it turned out. The rod, in my opinion, looks really good. And I just want to say, if you guys made it this far into the video, Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.